Dear students, very good morning to you. Good morning, girls. Yes. Today we are going to learn about one of the women social reformers of India. Do you know the meaning of social reforms? First of all, we must know the meaning of reform. It means change. Girls, then what does social reform mean? Yes, very good. It means change the existing social practice and move towards the progress of humanity. There were n number of social reformers emerged in our country to remove the outmoded social and religious practices in order to liberate women in our country. Could you please list the name of such social reformers of our country? Do you know, girls? Yes, Jyotirao Phule and Savitribai Phule. Also, Rajaram Mohan Roy, Harbilas Sharda, E.V.R. Periyar, Dr. Ambedkar, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. In this list, today we are going to see Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy. What were the reforms introduced by Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy? Okay. In this class, we are going to identify the social evils that prevailed in our society during the 20th century. And also, we are going to understand the social works of Muthulakshmi Reddy for the emancipation of women. We have to know the historical background of Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy. Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy belonged to a middle class family, but she aspired to become a medical student. But she faced a lot of difficulties to get admission into the medical college. But at last, she got entry into it, and later she shined as an outstanding medical student, and she became a specialist in gynecology. Now we shall see what were the reforms introduced by Muthulakshmi Reddy. Muthulakshmi Reddy analyzed our society threadbare, and she found the technique, the ways and means to remove such social evils from our society. What were the evils that prevailed in our society? The practice of child marriage. The girls, in their young age, in their infanthood, they were, instead of sending them to schools, they were get into infant marriage. Thereby, their health was affected, and they were not able to reproduce a good, robust, healthy children, and they were mentally retarded. After seeing such problems, Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy wanted to abolish child marriage. During that time, Harbilasa Sharda tried to introduce the Child Marriage Restraint Act. So, she wholeheartedly supported for the passing of the Harbilasa Sharda bill. And another evil that prevailed in our society was the Devadasi system. The Devadasi system, initially it was introduced in a good sense. By this, the girls were dedicated to the temples for doing social service. But during the middle age onwards, this system was deteriorated, and Devadasis were sexually exploited in our society. Okay, girls, as a medical practitioner, as a house surgeon, as a gynecologist, she was able to understand the Devadasis health system, and she tried to eradicate such a system from our society, so that she introduced the abolition of Devadasi bill in the Madras Legislative Assembly in the year 1929. And at the same time, there was another evil practice that was existed in our society was immoral trafficking. In this, women were considered the sexual object and they were sexually exploited. Because of that, they suffered from sexually transmitted diseases and they got treatment from our Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy. After seeing such a deplorable condition of women, she wanted to pass the Suppression of Immoral Traffic Act. In 1930, it was introduced. But only in the year 1956, the full form of Suppression of Immoral Traffic Act was introduced all over India. And at the same time, the girls who were affected with this trafficking, human trafficking, the immoral trafficking, were destituted. So to give asylum to such orphans and such destitute women, Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy established a way home and she provided education to them and she gave rehabilitation work to them. Why those evil practices prevailed in our society? Why did our women face such problems in the society? Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy didn't get any sleep at all. She wanted to emancipate women from such social clutches. For this, she considered the education of women as a panacea to get liberation, so that she established schools and separate hostels for girls in various places. And also, she introduced compulsory medical health checkup in schools. And at the same time, the voting right was denied to women, but she demanded a common electoral system. Thereby, she wanted to remove discrimination on the basis of birth. Also, she established a Cancer Institute at Adayar. See girls, if we are concentrating on studies, we couldn't shine in sports or extracurricular activities or other co-curricular activities. But being a woman, Muthulakshmi Reddy, Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy became a writer. She was an excellent orator and she was also the editor. As a writer, she wrote 3 books, that is autobiography, my experience as a social legislator, and the demand for abolition of Devadasi system. And she was the editor of Sri Dharma as a vice president of All India Women Association, which had its headquarters at Adayar. How could she brought such reforms in our society? Because she got education. She decorated many higher posts and administrative posts in our society. Only because of such a position, she was able to bring such social reforms in our society. Being the first woman as a medical student, and she is the first woman house surgeon, and she was the first women legislator in India, and she was the first deputy president of Legislative Council, and she was the first chairperson of Social Welfare Board, and she became the elder of a Madras Corporation. Because of such positions, she was able to bring such a social reforms in our society, and she was able to liberate and uplift the women in our country, particularly in Madras Presidency. You see, girls, Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy Life was not a bed of roses, but it was full of thorns. But up to this class, we are able to understand what were the changes she brought in the society amidst the obstacles she faced in her life. She changed such obstacles in her life to stepping stone for emancipating women in the society. Okay, girls, what did our government do or honor the remarkable social reformer in our society? The government of India honored her meritorious services by awarding the title Batma Vibhushan. And the government of Tamil Nadu introduced Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy Maternity Assistance Scheme to safeguard women and the child. Okay, girls, in this class we understood the reforms introduced by Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy and the problems faced by women during the 20th century. If there were no such a reformer, we couldn't enter into the college because of such reformers. They transformed the society, they modernized the society. So girls, in the next class, you have to list the services of Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy as a social reformer, and also you have to find out other social reformers services to transform the society. Thank you, girls. Thank you so much.